have been a little discomforted by that one, Renato.
Yeah, a good delivery there. Andre Creary being tucked up, not given any room. I know this is another spell because things generally happen shortly after a drinks break or shortly after an interval. So he has to reset, get his mind together, Andre Creary.
Creary really just steers this one nicely out towards third man. He seems to do everything with so little effort. Makes batting look ridiculously easy. And that's one more run to the total. Makes it now 71 for 2 from 15.2.
He might tell you that once he is there, that he has the ability to make runs. You can't make runs in the dressing room. So he just needs to weather this early storm from the JDF bowlers and then kick on towards the end. Alwyn Williams there, 41. Remember, 4 half centuries, 2 centuries, 7 games.
Here's Williams on strike. That's a good delivery, good single. That's, they could come back for the second. And that's one of the things that you have to give Andre Creary some credit for. He was responsible for calling Williams through. Might not be scoring rapidly, but he's not refused to take the quick singles whenever they are an offer. And he's helping Williams to go along. Williams goes up to 43 with that. And another half century certainly on the cards.
Yeah, positive running, quick call, early call, and that led to an additional run as Dennis there was kicking the ball away.
What will he serve up? Oh, he's really just trying to bludgeon that through the covers. Gets an inside half. And again, Andre Creary called him through for another relatively easy single. And Creary comes back on strike.
So a slip still in place. And the infielders are pretty close.
Couldn't work the ball into the gap. Still hasn't played a shot in anger, has Andre Creary. He's still going along his own merry way, but his team is not in a bad position. Maybe they know something about the depth of the St. Mary batting that I don't know. Maybe he feels his presence is crucial. But I'm not seeing Alwyn Williams. I'm not hearing the St. Mary people urging him on. So they seem to be fairly satisfied with how he's going at the moment. He drives down towards Medan. This could be tight now. Easy single in the end.
Looks to be a good judge of a single, Andre Creary. And now since that interval has looked a little bit more positive. It's even in his running. So maybe he was just waiting for that 15-over period, because you don't know what the plan is for St. Mary. Maybe they're saying that we want to be round about 70, 80 after 15 overs. Then we reassess. We want to be maybe 150, 160 after 30 overs, and then we can push on from there. So it may be a plan, but we'll have to see for the next couple of overs if this continues.
Now what would be interesting is what would be his approach be if Alwyn Williams gets out. I'm sure he probably would change a gear, but he's quite content at the moment to play second fiddle. And here's the start of another over from Gordon Brand. To the rather obdurate Creary. And again, takes a single. But you're right, since the water break, he's not being aggressive by any means, but it's looking to be a little bit busier. Or is it that they're now bowling a lot straighter to him as opposed to that channel where he was leaving a ball?
Could be a little bit of both. And then there's a little bit more space on the onside. If you get the ball, drop the ball into the onside, there's a single on offer. But looks to me a little bit more positive. And now the offside being stacked here for the next delivery to Alwyn Williams from Gordon Bryan.
It's a 6-3 offside field. So Bryan wouldn't want to be anywhere close to the stumps. Oh, I thought he missed out on that short ball. Was trying to just steer it past that man at point.
Is that the first time that we've seen him missed out on a short delivery?
He's usually gone for the pulls, but that one was a little bit too wide. But it's clear he's not against hitting the pull shots when they are short. I haven't really seen him cutting too often. He's driving and getting an edge out to the third man. And brings Crater back on strike. 45 now is Alwyn Williams. And although he's scoring pretty quickly is Alwyn Williams, he's not being reckless about it. He's setting out his stars, one would think, to bat all the way through. So he's scoring quickly, but you would say relatively safely at the moment as well.
45 from 50 deliveries, so he's going at 95 runs
without appearing to be taking undue risks.
Yeah.
Which is what good batsmen do. They score quickly without appearing.
He's a player, Alwyn Williams.
Certainly at this level he is. Here's Creary. And again, just dropping and running. And I think at some stage, the fielding team has got to say, listen, no more easy singles and offer. I think they're missing a trick. Creary is not going to be bludgeoning anything. There was a man at wideish cover while he was facing. I think when Creary is on strike, certainly you've got to prevent those drop and runs within the circle.
Before the drinks break, we spoke about Andre Creary at least rotating the strike, and he's certainly done that. In my account, 4 singles since then.
Brings Alwyn Williams back on strike on 45. It's Bryan who is on the way. Well, that's wide, down the leg side. There was a yelp from Bryan, who was disappointed with himself. And he has a right to be. That was really badly lined.
So, he was 4 from 23. He's now 8 from 29. So, he's doubled his score in 6 deliveries since that drinks break.
Maybe he needed some fluids to get him going. Here's Bryan again. Good delivery. What you'd call proper test match length. And that's my point about Bryan. He's not going fetching for deliveries. He's scoring quickly, but he's prepared to block out the deliveries that he's not comfortable with. But once he decides to go aggressive, he's giving it everything. But you get the feeling that he's still playing well within himself.
Yeah. On form, certainly the top batsman in our local league, Alwyn Williams.
Oh, he is whipping this one out towards fine leg, or towards long leg, really. Not convinced that that is where he intended it to go. But that's the end of another over. And after 17 is 80 for 2.
80 for 2 there, as we will see the reintroduction of spin. The first time since we've had that drinks break. And now JDF certainly, I think, now trying to pick up another wicket here.
A long mid-pitch conference between Williams and Creary. God alone knows what they could be discussing at this point in time. As Williams comes back on strike, he's on 46. He's one scoring shot away from another half century. They're taking some time over the field placing. So Alvin Williams on 46 will whip that one out towards mid-wicket. Easy single. And he stood up to a short ball and slapped it around towards mid-wicket. Brings Creary back on strike. He goes to 47 with that. Creary on 8. Gets back on strike. Creary punches down the ground off the back foot for another easy single. The run's coming relatively easy at the moment, with very little alarms. Creary goes to 9. Williams back on strike. Can't beat the man at that short mid-wicket position as he was on the back foot. Was trying to just work it a little bit squarer than that. This time he's forward and that can't score. They are appealing and Marlon Sanders is the bowler, by the way. Marlon Sanders, we've seen quite a few off spinners in this JDF team. He makes about the third one. And Williams off the back foot, works it square into the onside. And a good return, but the single was always on. Takes him to 48. And Creary comes back on strike. Here it is again. Worked away quite pleasantly. So now it's 18 overs gone. And it's 82 for 2 after 18. With Williams on 48 and Andre Creary on 9.
So Dennis Bulai seems as if he'll be operating. First time we're going to see Dennis Bulai in this contest. But Saunders, another one of those players. I remember Saunders from the University of Technology, playing in the intercol competition there at UTech, a pretty handy batsman as well. And now we're seeing the fourth spinner being used now by the JDF in their innings, and that's amazing because we've completed 18 overs. We've seen 3 seam bowlers in Burton, Dennis and Leslie. Well, 4 because we've seen Gordon as well.
Indeed. Well, let's watch Dennis Bulai's first delivery, and it's stroked pleasantly up towards cover for an easy single. Williams is now 49, and the 50 seems to be there for the taking. Andre Creary comes back on strike.
So we've seen 8 bowlers being used, 4 seam bowlers, 4 spinners. It speaks about the depth and the quality of this JDF team.
Now let me see if the captain of the JDF team will allow those drop and runs from Creary again. Certainly somebody should be coming in tighter, especially on the onside.
And talking about bowlers, we could very much see a 9th because Deesmar Anderson can bowl as well.
Well, that one went to backward square. And there was no run there. Why would you have a man at deep mid-wicket for Andre Creary at this point in time? Maybe can you explain that? And a man on the sweeper boundary.
There's also long on in place.
Why on earth is that happening? He has not played a shot in anger all day. And he's batting with mid-wicket all the way back, long on back, deep cover. Maybe I'm not seeing something. He would have to start hitting for that to happen. Or that's the one that goes the other way. He was coming back, expecting the ball to spin back to him to bash it over maybe mid-wicket, but the left-hander's googler that spins away. But explain that one to me, Renata Brown. This is a quick single. And even that, I think they should have been a little bit tighter on that. But why on earth do you have deep mid-wicket, deep cover, long off, long on to a man who has not played one shot in anger in all the time he's been there?
By the way, he's yet to run a double. All his runs so far, all 10, been singles.
That's exactly my point. And they're appealing maybe an inside edge. I remember when I was just learning the art of cricket, my captain used to say, if you have the same exact field for the two batsmen, then you're not doing a good job as a captain, because it's impossible for the two batsmen at the crease to be batting exactly the same way, scoring exactly the same areas with exactly the same plan. And when Williams on strike, in terms of field placing, there's very little difference from when Creary's on strike. And that's puzzling for me.
Yeah, and most definitely. You saw also the flag fluttering in the wind there, and that wind is actually coming across the strip. So it's coming from South Camp Road across towards the right wing of the North Stand. And that's an area that's empty that maybe Creary can target.
He's driving out towards Langan. Certainly Langan should be at mid-on.
That wouldn't have been a single, but with Langan on the ropes, that's an easy single for Creary.
He has. I don't get it. I mean, this is just not on. And they're appealing, but he was much too far down for that to be a serious appeal.
And it's a double blow for the JDF as well, because with each single taken from Creary, you now put Alwyn Williams on strike as well.
Williams punches out towards Medan, and that's his 50. Has been a very responsible innings. He's had one half a chance, but good knock from Alwyn Williams.
Yeah, a superb half century from Alwyn Williams, his 5th so far this season, and his 50 comes up of 61 deliveries, 6 fours and a 6, so he's striking at 81.97, and a well-needed half century from his team.
Creary's forward, and no run. 4 people, well, 5 inside the circle. And now they're asking the mid-on to come in a little bit closer.
It's a short, straight mid-on. But they still have long on in place.
And he works that behind square. It runs down to the fine leg boundary. Was that a good stop? The umpire may want to have a look. I think he picked up the ball while he was still over the boundary. Now the umpire signals 4.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous, because, and let's look back at it, it was work down towards fine leg. He did some fantastic work in pulling back the ball in time, but I think where the problem comes in is that in picking, let's look at it. So he stopped the ball before it got across the boundary. Then he does this. Well, you missed it there. So he picked up the ball while he was still outside of the boundary.
Yeah. And undid all the hard work that he did prior to that. So 91 for 2 now from, what's that, 20?
Yeah, that's 20 overs. So if this was a T20, here's another look at it. Hopefully we'll see it this time. So he gives chase, he pulls back the ball there, and then he does this.
Can't do that. Can't pick it up while your feet are outside the ropes. All right, so here's Bulai to Williams again. Full toss, and he hits her out towards Langan for a single. I think he'd feel he missed out on that. He could have hit that virtually anywhere and hit it straight to the man at long on for a single.
And missed out there. Had he tugged that maybe about a meter or two to the left or right of the man at long on, as he were, it would have been 4 runs.
So Andre Creary, they call him Quinty, just backs away, wasn't ready. Dead ball signaled by the umpire. Works that nicely out towards long on. Just irks me to see these easy singles on offer as if the JDF is content. He will have to start going over the top. If he tongues you over the top 2 or 3 times, then fine. But I'm not giving those easy singles.
So the JDF might think that the singles aren't hurting them.
Well, we'll talk about that after this delivery. Punched out to short cover, no run.
But given the boundary from the last ball of the previous over and 2 singles from the first 2 balls of this over, that's 6 runs in the last 4 deliveries.
Williams respectfully forward. The thing with Bulai, he does bowl the odd bad ball, as we saw with that full toss early in the over, but he does have some magic balls as well. Again, full and edged and knocked down by the man at slip. Did he get back to that?
Might have gotten back to that, and good stop there by the fielder. Looked to be Leslie.
Oh, there was no yelp as if there was a chance involved, so probably there was no touch. Bulai again. Oh, reverse sweep being pulled out. That's a clever shot. That's cheeky, but it's brilliant. Oh, Alwyn Williams now playing with utmost confidence. Pulled out the reverse sweep. And that was cleverly played, expertly played. And takes his total now up to 55.
Yeah. 55 years. By the way, Andre Creary is 16. So in the last 6 overs, he's added 12 runs. And those 12 runs have come from 16 deliveries. So it's almost going a run a ball since the water break.
Yeah.
And it's been mostly in singles.
Except for that tickle down to final leg for 4. He's not really done anything dramatic down the ground. But yet we still have a long on and a long off in place. And I know it seems we are overdoing it. But we have to call it the way we see it. That short Medan is a good field placing. It says you're not dropping it straight on the onside and getting a single. They are adjusting long on to come a little bit finer.
And Saunders trying to get his field right, just taking long on to a more straighter position.
Creary's on the back foot and pushing it back to the bowler. He edges that, takes a single. The other thing, Renato, if you have a fieldsman who has not fielded a delivery for 6, 7, 8, 9 overs, then something is wrong. That man at deep cover to Creary, he's been completely out of the game. I can understand long on, long off, because at least he's showing the tendency to go on the back foot and hit straight down the ground. But he's not opened up towards cover. We'll comment on that. Down the ground comes Williams and bangs it straight. That's 4. He could take the game away from the JDF. Lovely shot.
A brilliant shot. And that's his 8th boundary in his 59, Alwyn Williams. And it takes a lot of pressure off Andre Creary. It allows him to deal in singles mostly. The 100 comes up.
And he's forward. Can't get the single. Upset with himself. Marlon Allen, the bowler. And that's a drive. Lovely shot. They could come back for 2 if this doesn't run in the way into the boundary. In fact, it does. That was some shot. And now Alwyn Williams in full flow. Wasn't the classic vertical back drive. He almost slapped it past cover. And 4 lovely runs once more.
That's 8 runs from the last 2 deliveries from that Saunders over. And you put that with a single from Creary, and you're looking at 9 runs coming from that over. So they're going well now. They're past the 100 mark, by the way, this St. Mary team. They're 106 for the loss of 2. And we've just completed 22 overs. They're going at 4.8, and at this rate, they get to 282, which on this track, I think, is a good total.
Bulai to Creary. He's forward. Can't score. They're coming a little bit tighter to Creary. They are walking in a little bit tighter. The man at short mid wicket and the man at short cover are just closing in at the point of the delivery, so they are aware that Creary is just at the moment looking to knock one. But certainly the man at deep cover, I think, should be in the circle as well.
Yeah, I agree, especially with Bulai spinning the ball in towards Creary. But maybe they're giving him that space to look and think that, well, this could very much be a scoring area, and the ball spin back through the gate.
Well, he's working that down towards third man. Could this go all the way? It will not. He'll come back for the second. And he's looking a lot more fluent, is Andre Creary. He's just nurdling and nudging around, down behind fine leg, down to the right of the man at slip.
Talk about intent.
Yeah. He looks to be a different customer since the water break. Even when he gets a full toss like that, still no real anger to the shot. Just prepared at the moment to just work it around and allow the more aggressive Alvin Williams back on strike.
So again, that's another delivery where with long on inside the circle, that's not even a single. So I just can't understand the plan from the JDF.
Bulai bowls and Williams is forward. And that drops it down short on the onside. Doesn't score. 1 or 2 more spectators trickling in. And it's Bulai again. Full toss. And Bulai does well to stop in his follow through.
Spectators catch a couple of persons shouting in the stands. Definitely a bump ball.
Oh, that was a good delivery. The keeper is appealing. Well, was that an appeal or was that a gentle inquiry, as they say? But genuinely beaten. That one spinning across Williams. Didn't get the edge.
Just playing inside the line there, Alwyn Williams. And that one, that's maybe the first ball that we've really seen spun from Dennis Bulai. Was well flighted as well, and the ball now at least 12 overs old, so maybe starting to spin now, and if anyone can get this ball to spin, it's Dennis Bulai. So we'll see the reintroduction of pace, and it looks to be Burton will be coming back, bowled his first over, the second over of the day, and then was taken out of the attack.
All right, so the start of a new over and another scampered single. And that was another single to Creary and brings Alwyn Williams back on strike. Williams, who is going well at the moment, on 63. Creary is on 20, by the way. And the St. Mary team would probably be the happier of the two teams at the moment. These two are going quite well. And the JDF would want to break this partnership as early as possible. Steered out into the offside. Creary wants a single. Williams says no.
Tyrone Burton here, coming back for his second over. His first over, I think, went for 9.
Oh, that's down the leg side. Will there be a signal for 4, or is that buys? It's leg buys. 4 leg buys. Tyrone Burton straying too far down the leg side. And his team suffers the consequences of that.
Yeah, runs not only in the bat of Alwyn Williams, they're in his pads as well. This one coming off the outer portion and going down to a vacant fine leg position. And again, since that drinks break, the tide has certainly shifted. And the JDF looks a little bit down in the field. They looked void of ideas.
Oh, he cuts and can't beat the man at point. Again, disappointed with himself. He plays the pull shot well and hasn't been really able to score when the balls are wide outside off, either missing or finding the fielders.
Yeah, but did get an outside edge off a delivery. I believe at that time it would have been from Daly. That went for 4.
Taps away again. And works this one out to that short fine. And again another no ball. So another free hit for, there's a signal from the umpire.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is the second no ball from Burton. And he's now in his second over. Bowled a no ball that was dispatched for a boundary. At that time, it was by Orlando Lions to get off the mark.
Where do you think that Williams will try to heave this? My bet, dead straight or slightly offside, maybe long off.
Well, the last free hit no ball he bowled was a short delivery.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, dead straight, maybe over wide, long off. Maybe I did get that one pretty right, but that was helped by the bowler pitching right up.
Probably should have gone for the short pitch delivery.
Getting himself spanked over wideish long off and all the way for 6.
And it's just the real talent of Alwyn Williams. And I don't think a lot of persons appreciate this, might not appreciate this inning so far. It has been chanceless. That's one. But he has not missed out on opportunities if the balls are short or too full or just wide outside the off stump, allowing him to free his arms. And that again was another superb shot.
So Williams continues to create some problems here for the JDF. He's on 69 at the moment. Here's Burton, and he's driving. And knocked down by the bowler in his follow through. End of over number 24, is it? It's 121 for 2.
It's an interesting over. A couple of runs coming from that over. And we might very much see Burton being taken out again. As I said before, 8 bowlers used by the JDF. And Dietmar Anderson can bowl a little bit of seam. He's not express, but has enough pace. Generally bowls a lot of short deliveries as well. So an abundance of riches when it comes to bowling for the JDF team. But it's where do you bowl them? Because you get Gordon Bryan. You might not want to bowl Gordon Bryan for another over just yet.
Bulai starts a new over with Creary coming forward. And I'm counting the amount of deliveries or the amount of overs here in Renata Brown where deep cover is brought into play. I'm making it now maybe about 15 overs where he hasn't fielded one single delivery. I'm not seeing the man at deep mid-wicket fielding anything when Creary's on strike either. That's just pushed back to the bowler, no run.
Yeah, the only time long on and long off comes in play is whenever they're taking a single.
They have brought a man a little bit straighter up mid-on, and there's a man tight on the offside as well. So they are saying, we don't want any singles, but that's a lovely shot. Oh, that's well fielded. Down at wideish long off, maybe deep extra cover. Lovely shot from a bad ball. But Creary for once punching for 2. And maybe he's now growing in confidence.
And looks to be Gilzine who did the fielding there. So he's not just in the team for his batting. And Devin Gilzine, but nice footwork on the boundary there. But maybe the first real firm drive that we've seen from Andre Creary in this innings.
He gets a short ball and maybe thinking about pulling the ball, maybe just staying down a little bit. And he worked it into the onside for a single. So he's scoring a lot more freely. He goes up to 24 and brings the dangerous Alwyn Williams back on strike. He drives up towards long on and gets another easy single. And the Creary comes back on strike.
So it's starting to get a little bit dangerous now for the JDF at 125 for 2.
He's forward. It's another over where deep cover, deep mid-wicket, not brought into play. I just think that this is rather ordinary captaincy, if the truth be told. But it is what it is after 25, so we've completed half the overs here, Renato. And it's 125 for 2. And even by my own shaky mathematics, that means we're going at exactly 5 and over at the moment. Good or bad from your estimation?
Yeah, at 5 runs and over, I would take that if I'm St. Mary. I would definitely take that. Another 125 runs from here takes you to 250, which I would think would be a very challenging total for this JDF team. But with Alwyn Williams there, if he stays there for the last 5 over or 10 overs, you're also looking at 300 runs.
Yeah, they're looking to up the ante. I think that the last 25, once they have wickets in hand, they'll probably score quicker than the first 25.
Williams comes back.
And he runs down the track, hits down towards Langan. And could we be seeing Alwyn playing with a little bit more aggression in the last half of the St. Mary innings? He moves up to 6 to 70 now. And Creary comes back on strike. 71 actually. And Creary comes back on strike. A little mid-pitch conference. You want to guess what that conversation could be about? Get me on strike, Creary. Nick 120 and get me back on. Wouldn't be bad advice at all. So let's see. Yeah. He gets one. Well, he probably will get more than one. In fact, it's an easy 2.
A really good shot there from Andre Creary. Didn't try to overhit the ball because had he done so, it would have only been 1.
Well, he never tries to overhit any ball, really. So you're not telling us anything new. But I get the point you're making. He's such an easy stroke player. And while we were a little bit critical of him earlier, he's batting with a lot more intent. Here is he. This one's a good one. Can't score. Quicker, flatter outside the off.
By the way, in case you're just joining us, the Jamaica Defence Force would have won the toss and decided to bowl. Orlando Lions was the first to be dismissed. He was caught Gordon Bryan, and that came off the bowling of Leighton Leslie, made 5. And then Tyrone Daly was bowled by O'Shane Williams for 13. So at that time it was 36 for 2. So since then, these two, they've added 94 runs for the 3rd wicket.
And Creary forced to be respecting the last 3 deliveries. Unable to score. And maybe struck on the pad, but he was well outside after playing a shot. And the end of another over. And at the end of over number 26, it's 128 for 2.
Again, Dan just impacting the pads outside the line of the off stump. And he knows what he's doing, Andre Creary. Remember, you're talking about a former national youth representative, represented the West Indies as well. So you're looking at someone who has experience. And as I said before, many persons felt that himself and Ramal Lewis, in most recent times, as far as captaincy and the knowledge of the game and being able to pick the right moments, are compared to someone like Tamar Lambert, who is by far our most successful captain at the regional level. As captain of the team that won 5 straight championships between 2008 and 2012. So that's the kind of realm that Andre Creary was considered in, and probably is still.
Bulai starts another over. Williams wants a single as it's peeling off towards that square leg position. And there's no run in that.
And I understand was very good friends with Jermaine Blackwood, Andre Creary.
And the man called Shalumba, as Williams just works it out towards long on and takes off for another easy single, moves on to 72. And these two continuing to make run scoring look rather easy. JDF need a wicket. They don't want these two to be there in the last 10 overs when they are well set. Probably by then, Williams will have a century, maybe Creary will have a half century. You don't want these two to be batting at the death. Definitely
not. And I don't think that they have a preference in the wicket that they would want at this point. I think they would even take the wicket of Andre Creary at this point. As Chulumba, that's Alwyn Williams, does some repair work on his inner garment.
Bulai punched off the back foot straight back at the bowler. Again, maybe a little quiet word exchange, but he wanted to be a little bit more aggressive with that shot, was Creary. A lot more business-like off the back foot. And he's pulling in the air, caught. Oh, that was a giving away of a wicket, if ever there was one. That was soft. Hitting it straight to the man at mid-on off the back foot. Creary, after all the hard work, gifts his wicket to the opposition, and St. Mary has lost their 3rd wicket. It's now 129 for 3.
Yeah, maybe commentators curse Orville, but did say that JDF needed a wicket, and they would even take the wicket of Andre Creary. But I tell you what, had that been the previous over, it would have been 1 bounce to long on for a single. So they've replaced long on, they've taken him into the circle, and that led to the wicket of Andre Creary, because now what happened, you can no longer push the ball to long on for a single. You'd have to go over the top to get a single. And I think the JDF missed a trick early on and allowed him to get some runs, and the partnership just falling 5 runs short of a century stand, but a good partnership nonetheless.
Yes, it was. And
So Sheldon Price is the new batsman. You're looking there. Gordon Bryan took the catch. And as I said before, the first time that they made the decision, as we look back at it, that's the first time in a long time that the man at long on wasn't back on the fence. And it resulted in a wicket.
So it's a new batsman at the crease. Who do we have?
Sheldon Price.
Sheldon Price, the new batsman. And there's at least one supporter for the JDF saying run through the tail.
He's not just a supporter, he's also the scorer.
Oh, it's the scorer for JDF. He says run through the tail. That's an easy single up to mid-off. So Price is off the mark.
Powerfully built Price. Looks as if he can hit the ball maybe somewhere in the region of Kingston College.
So a very even contest at the moment. You would think that St. Mary would have thought they were in the driver's seat, but that wicket of Creary has certainly evened up proceedings a little bit. Bulai bowls and Williams off the back foot and can't beat the man at point coming in. All right, so maybe the conventional feeling is that once Williams is there, then St. Mary will feel that they are in the driver's seat. 27 overs gone, and it's 130 for 3.
So Williams will continue, and over there that the wicket of Andre Creary and Dennis Bulai, being the senior pro that he is, would definitely feel as if he should be getting a couple more wickets in this final. He has to show up. As Williams will continue from the Courtney Walsh end and picked up the wicket of Tyrone Daly and was bowled, and that went through bat and pad.
All right, so here's the start of a new over, and Price steers it. It's going to be tight. He's gone, is he? Yes. Oh my goodness. Alvin Williams goes run out. JDF are celebrating. Maybe that was the only way he was going to get out today. Price playing it square on the offside, took off for the single. Williams chanced his arm or chanced his hand, and the direct throw was deadly. The JDF has lost another wicket. Game on.
Yeah, I was going to say that Price looks as if he's someone that just wants to push the ball and get singles. And I don't think that Alwyn Williams was quite ready there. And again, you talk about big players and big moments and showing up. The last 2 wickets, the 2 set batsmen, Gordon Bryan has played a part. He took the catch to dismiss Andre Creary. Now a brilliant run-out, direct hit, by the way, to remove Alwyn Williams. And now you ask about who is in the ascendancy. I can tell you, if you add 2 wickets to the total, you will know where you are. They've lost 2 wickets in quick succession.
So all of a sudden, the 2 batsmen who had added well over 90 runs are out. And we have virtually 2 new batsmen at the crease. Anthony Walters is the new batsman. And St. Mary would have lost 2 wickets at a time when they could ill afford to lose it.
Anthony Walters, the new batsman, no. And we would have seen a partnership of 95 broken. You need another partnership here, and you need a big partnership here.
Anthony Walters drives his first ball out to cover and can't score. He's forward and they're appealing, and no.
And by the way, you talk about the importance of Alwyn Williams. There was a game earlier this season where Alwyn Williams, in one of his 2 centuries, scored 102 as we look back at it. That went through bat and pad.
There was no edge on that.
And no edge on it. Where Alwyn Williams made 102 and St. Mary, they were bowled out for 204.
Literally half the score. Here's Walters. Well, playing for the one to come back, went straight on. And maybe that is one of the reasons why they weren't really upset with the rate at which Carey was scoring, because based on what we're seeing here, the rest of the batting may leave a little bit to be desired. But let's see. Drives out towards cover, and they get a single. Walters is off the mark.
Yeah, I'm not convinced with this Anthony Walters fellow. I know it has only been a couple of deliveries, but hasn't covered himself in any glory. That one was certainly on the up. And I tell you what, as St. Mary, you don't want Alwyn Williams being dismissed. And I think the worst way for Alwyn Williams to go is by the run-out route. I don't think it could get any worse for St. Mary. As we look at a couple of the spectators here at Sabina Park in the George Headley stand, you see the feather banner there from the Jamaica Cricket Association just waving in the wind, and it's waving in the way of the JDF based on proceedings now.
All right, Bulleye for Walters, and he's forward, just dropping it out into the offside, and gets an easy single. Price will come back and strike.
And I tell you what, for St. Mary, the price better be right. Dennis Bulleye, no. If I were Dennis Bulleye, I would definitely feel as if I can get maybe 5 wickets here.
Maybe Price has something to say about that. He's on 1. He's forward, steers it out to the offside.
And we talk about long on and long off. There are 2 new batsmen at the crease. There's long on, long off. There's deep mid-wicket and deep cover.
That's in the air. This is an easy dismissal. Oh, he looks at the toe of his bat. He's not going to get out too many worse deliveries than that. That was a flighted, full over pitch, full toss, call it what you may. And was trying to work it into the leg side. Here it is. Poor delivery, but even those get wickets sometimes.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with the JDF scorer now that they are into the tail, because that was a nothing delivery. I think, look at it again. Even Dennis Bulleye didn't even celebrate. That's how poor the delivery was. And St. Mary, they now lose their 5th wicket. And Price, who was involved in a run-out with Alwyn Williams, now has to go back from the worst delivery. The worst delivery. Not just of the final, but probably the entire tournament.
Now, as a batsman, you would kick yourself, especially if your team goes on to lose. You don't want to be reminded that that is the way you got out. Full toss, leg stump, and you end up being out caught on the offside. Complete mess of things.
I think had he not laid back onto the ball, it would have been called a wide. It was a full toss down the leg side, and somehow he managed to get back onto it. And he was caught by the slip fielder, by the way. So St. Mary now in a host of problems, losing 3 wickets for little or no runs.
So it's 132 now for 5. And the wickets coming much too quickly for the St. Mary team's liking. Bulai will bowl. The new batsman. Nemad is the new batsman. And he's off the back foot and cutting. Well, gets off the mark. Misfield at point. So Nemad is off the mark.
So Jaffa Nemad gets off the mark, as you said, first delivery. And they've now lost 3 wickets for, I think, 4 runs.
Bulai bowls, and that's driven out towards long on. And they get an easy single. And that's
Anthony Walters there.
Walters with that single. Brings Nemad on strike. Facing up to Bulai. He's forward, respectfully pushing out into the offside.
Well, he shapes up to the ball a little bit better than both Walters and Price, who was dismissed a couple of deliveries ago. But the over comes to an end. 30 completed. Well, 29 completed. 134 for the loss of 5.
Conventional wisdom says you double your score after 30, providing you have wickets in hand. So if JDF, if St. Mary were, say, 2 wickets less down, they could be thinking 260 maybe. But what do you think?
That's 268.
Yeah, double the score because it's 134, right? But what's realistic for them now with 5 wickets down? Maybe 230?
I think 200, based on what I'm seeing from Anthony Walters.
So you're saying 200 from here would be what they would be aiming for?
Yeah. Well, I think it's what they will get.
Interesting. Let's see how much of the fortune teller you are. Playing out towards cover and no run.
And that's on the higher side of the spectrum for me. And the JDF, they need to squeeze these 2 new batsmen. I'm not necessarily liking the field.
Oh, that's it on the part, playing across the line. He's gone. No surprise there. And another wicket goes down. That one was fairly straight, Renato. And Walters was trying to whip it across the line. We're not directly behind the bowler's arm, but that looked fairly adjacent. Another wicket goes down.
Yeah, I did say that the new batsman, Javan Nemard, looked a little bit more competent than Walters and Price. Both Walters and Price are now out. And at 134 for 6, well, my prediction of 200 looks a bit way off as Murdoch walks to the crease. And with 4 deliveries left to complete over number 30, the players have another drink.
thick and fast at the moment. Bernard is on strike and hits that out towards that square position on the offside, just in front of point. And can't score.
Well, that's the new batsman. That's Murdoch. His first delivery.
That's Murdoch. Oh, Murdoch is the new batsman. He's driving. This time picks out the man at cover. So 2 nice drives, but picking out the fielder on both occasions.
And I tell you what, cricket is such a strange thing. And I tell you why. Both Walters and Price have scored over 150 runs in the competition so far.
Off the back foot.
They've scored more than Murdoch and Nemhard. And based on the eye test, both Murdoch and Nemhard looks to shape up better behind the ball than Price.
This is Murdoch, who is hitting back to the bowler, can't score. And I'm beginning to agree with you, Renato, that 200 mark starting to looking more and more difficult to attain.
30 overs now completed, 134 for the loss of 6. And these two batsmen would certainly have to at least. And here's the thing, you still have 20 overs remaining. That's 120 balls, legal deliveries. Now, if you add another, let's say, 70 runs from that, you pass the 200-run mark.
Bola it is. And that's cut out towards short third man. Good single. In fact, there was a little misfield, but they won't be able to capitalize on that. One more run to Nemhard it is, who would have scored. So yeah, Nemhard now is on 2. Brings Murdoch on strike. 134 for 6. 135 for 6. Bulleye bowls. And if you're not going to be hitting those, then chances are you won't be hitting too many. He did get a single, but that was a rank long hop. He should have probably done a little bit better with.
At 136 now. And Bulleye, with all his experience, must look to wrap up this innings quickly for his team.
Batsman can't get a touch. These two probably should just think of batting till the 50th over. Maybe not try to do anything overly extravagant unless they get balls like that. And even then, he gets a full toss that he hits to straight mid-wicket.
We've seen full toss being really botched.
Getting wickets. Bulleye bowls driven. That's a pleasant enough shot down to long off. And an easy single taken.
Should be one delivery to come now in this Dennis Bulleye over. So far taken 2 for 23.
Oh, that's bounced and hitting the glove. The batsman really had no idea about that. Ball was short. And in trying to punch it, the ball came back, hit the glove, but there was nobody within that vicinity. It fell safely. 31 over is gone, 137 for 6.
Yeah, the ball getting big there on Nemhard. The JDF Williams will continue for his team. He has picked up 2 for 10 and from 5 overs. So has gone quietly about his business. Shane Williams.
So that one is slapped past point. That will run down to the boundary. That's 4. Oh, that was short and got the treatment. And 4 runs to Murdoch.
4 runs to Nemhard. Moves on to
6 on to 7. There you go.
Nemhard, the number 4, and that was a well played shot. Was onto the back foot in a flash and got it past the man at backward point. Well, in front of backward point.
And let's see what Nemad does again. He's driving. Nice looking shot down to long on. Takes it to 142 for 6 now. Nemad goes up to 8 with that. And Murdoch comes back on strike. Murdoch is on 1. And he drives down to back to the bowler. Bowler can't stop it. Single. Yeah.
And these two, so far, they look competent. I give them that. And if you can get the odd boundary, as Neymar did a couple of deliveries ago, and get the singles, then you can push the scoring along.
Oh, that was much too close to cut by Neymar. We should be better advised to just punch off the back foot to those that are that tight on the off stump. You really wouldn't call that a classic drive by any means. Almost horizontal back, slapping it down to long off. But runs are runs, he gets a single.
It brings Murdoch on strike now. They're on 2. And again, just looking to cut. Oh. And I think the message has to be not to invent shots for these two. There will be good deliveries. You don't have the capability like Alwyn Williams to even get good deliveries away. And the off spinner, the ball pitching and turning into the right-hander. And it started maybe about 5th stump and coming back. So it was always difficult to cut. And it's for the second time that we've seen them trying to execute that cut shot. So they don't need to invent shots. Bad deliveries will come. They just need to stay there and to bat out the 50 overs. That should be the plan from St. Mary.
Indeed. New over to be bowled by Bulai. Bulai's figures at the moment. 7 overs, 2 for 23. So he's going about his business pretty decent at the moment. Over the wicket. And the batsman, Nemad, had to just drop it out on the onside and can't score.
By the way, the projected score is 206.
Off the back foot. Can't beat the man at point. We still haven't seen deep cover. I'm counting. There has been a deep cover from about the 11th over. He has not yet been brought into play. That's driven back at the bowler. Was that a chance? Did it
I think it was on the bounce.
I think it was on the bounce. Down to long on for a
Well,
single.
to be fair, we've seen that deep cover used once. And that was from a shot from Andre Creary through the cover region where he came away, came around and did
all right,
so
he was brought into action once. Bulai it is to Murdoch off the back foot.
Yeah, I'll say this to you, Orville. It might not be popular, but I'm going to get in either another slip or a gully because so far Murdoch looks as if his first intent is to cut.
Well, he was trying there, getting the one that goes the other way, spinning across him. That's part of the problem. They don't seem to be reading which one is spinning back and which one is going away. And they wouldn't be the only persons that Bulai would have ever bowled to that can't pick him. And what will the umpire signal here? And what's the signal? Leg byes. They come back for 2. They all count.
Started 2 straight Bulai, and then the ball spinning down the leg side. But again, you have to, I think as a captain, you have to sum up the batsman, you have to sum up conditions. As we look back at this one, was pulled back just before the ropes. You have to come up with plans based on what it is that the batsmen are doing. And so far, especially Murdoch, is looking to back away and to use that backward point gully region to get runs. He's not willing to push out and drive the ball through the cover region.
All right, new over. And Nemad is respectfully forward. The bowler is Shane Williams. And after 6 overs, he's gone 2 for, is that 11?
17.
2 for 17.
You're forgiven. Small phone.
There you go. Driven out towards long off for a single. These two, clearly not the two best batsmen in the world, but they'll be sensible to just bat it out. There's still oodles of balls to get. And the 200 mark should be the very least that they're aiming at.
I'm not sure of this from O'Shane Williams here, coming around the wicket to the right-handed batsman. By the way, there's no fine leg in play, so it has to be outside the off stump.
Well, that went through everything. How that missed the stumps, you'll never know. But he was completely at sea, was Murdoch.
You need another catcher behind the stumps.
And he's defending that. O'Shane Williams fast and flat. No loop, no flight. He's realizing that these two are unable to get him away when he's that flat, and he's almost like a medium pacer that time around. Out towards cover. Again, no run.
For this delivery, I'm asking long on inside the circle, and I'm going to flight it.
Still no flight. Still no score. That's the narrative for this over, which comes to an end. Decent over for Williams. 34th gone, and it's 148 for 6.
Now the question here for JDF, do you try to pick up the next 4 wickets quickly, or do you try to not concede runs quickly? And it seems as if Walters is concerned with not conceding runs quickly, bowling quick, bowling flat. You really want to flight these deliveries.
Bulleye continues, and this is pushed out into the offside. He's a single. The ball going between that man at point and that man at cover. And he's a single. Takes it to 149 for 6. Brings Murdoch back on strike. 12 for Nemad. And let's see what Murdoch has in the offering. They're appealing. He's given him LBW. Another wicket goes down. Murdoch stands his ground and looks at the umpire for a long while. But that was, from this vantage point, looked fairly straight. Murdoch is not happy, but it's another wicket down. Here it is. What's your thoughts, Renato?
Yeah, that one looks close. If anything, it could be sliding down the leg side because they got a big stride in. But from our vantage point, that looks pretty much adjacent. But again, what's the difference between Dennis Bulleye and O'Shane Williams? Dennis Bulleye had some flight on that delivery. Williams didn't. He's trying to bowl flat, trying to bowl fast, and he's being played like a medium pacer. Dennis Bulleye, with the experience, with the guile, deciding to flight the ball, get it to turn, and picks up his 3rd wicket. Is now 3 for 25 from 8.2. And it looks like Chisholm will be the new batsman. We'll wait for confirmation. And it looks straight to me. That looked straight to me. The new batsman walks to the crease. It looks to me that that is Chisholm, the big, burly, fast bowler, who will pick up the last wicket in that semi-final against Kensington, and was off to the races, hurdling chairs and sticks and debris as they celebrated. Not celebrating now.
Well, Bulleye will continue. He's now picked up his 3rd wicket. He was always going to be a trump card for this JDF team, and he's proving his worth. And they are sending a man in between mid-wicket and long on. So the long on is back. There's a straight mid-wicket that's back. Mid-wicket is all the way back. So maybe they are expecting Mr. Chisholm to apply the long handle here.
He can hit them a long way.
Let's see. Well, you couldn't tell by that. It was a rather tentative defensive push.
Another one of those players who has had reasonable success in the SPC T20 competition. His team, Days Mountain, also through to the quarterfinals.
Here's Bulleye. Well, he's not going to get too many marks for aesthetics. is Chisholm. But those big, broad shoulders, I wouldn't be surprised if he attempts to send one over the George Headley stand. Flight it, Mr. Bulai. Let's see what he's got. He's not going to score too many from those.
I was going to tell you that this, for me, should be the wrong on. Flighted outside the off stump. And I think Dennis Bulai now could very much bowl more of the wrong on that turns away from Chisholm.
Again, not sure he got back to ball there. Let's see what Chris Taylor will signal. He's now signaling that it was a wide. Interesting.
So 2 runs added. Dennis Bulai to Chisholm. I'm thinking about going around the wicket, the wrong on, pitching maybe about off stump or mid and off and get it to spin away from the batsman. By the way, the 150 comes up there, 151 for 7.
Nemad on strike. And is he out caught at slip? He is. Oh, that was clever. That was flighted. A rather tentative push by Nemad. Edge taken. No mistake at slip. And the St. Mary wickets continues to tumble.
I tell you what. I won't let this slide by Orville Higgins as we look back at it. I did say a couple of overs ago that Dennis Bulai should be looking to take 5. He's gotten 4. I did say a couple of overs ago that the JDF bowler should look to flight the ball to these batsmen. Dennis Bulai has flighted 2 and gotten 2 wickets. So St. Mary well and truly on the back foot, and now my prediction of 200 looks way off.
Well, you did say they shouldn't get past 200, to your credit. So if they get bowled out for, say, 160, you'd still be well within your rights to have a few bragging points. But let me ask you this, Ronaldo Brown. It is obvious that the lower half of the St. Mary batting is not too adept. Should they be deciding, you know what, this pushing around thing not going to work, and just do what tailenders do when they can't find the middle, and just go for a few blows? I
think Chisholm is right on cue here with what you're saying. To the off spinner, they have a long on, they have a deep straight mid wicket, and they have a regulation deep mid wicket in front of the Kingston Cricket Club as well. I see Chisholm trying to tee off against the off spinner here.
They also have a long off as well, but I know you were describing those on the leg side. But I think, listen, the pushing and prodding is not getting us anywhere. If I were the St. Mary captain, I'd say go for it. He's cutting and missing. It tells you he's not adept at square cutting a ball. That's maybe a little bit above his range. Flight one. And let's see what he'll do. Well, he works it into the onside. He does get a single.
I just don't understand from Williams here not flighting the ball. I understand you may not want to go for runs, but you still need to wrap up this innings as quickly as possible. He's seen Dennis Bulai do it from the other end, flighting the deliveries.
That's driven. That's a lovely looking shot. That's played nicely. And number 4 in the top order wouldn't do it much different from that.
And nice shot there from Dwayne Hamilton, who gets off the mark his first delivery. But again, regardless of who the batsman is, the field hasn't changed. Still just 4, including the slip on the offside.
Still no flighted deliveries to Chisholm. You have long off. You have long on, mid-wicket back. Well, he's applying the long handle.
Yeah, but he's dangerous.
Where was he trying to hit that?
I don't know. It's dangerous because Chisholm will look to hit straight. If it gets the outside edge, it could go down to third man.
Now he's heaving it down towards that man at straight mid-wicket. 1 bounce. That is, I think, the area that the bowler should be bowling at. A little flighted, maybe a little bit outside after allow him to drag it. And that was the first attempt at that. But he does get a single.
The field has to change for me to the new batsman. Dwayne Hamilton.
It's just lazy captaincy when that's not the case. Hamilton it is. Oh, steering that one down towards that short third man. They take one. They're coming back for the second. And Renata about to tear his hair out.
Yeah, because it's naivety from the JDF team. There's no way that Dwayne Hamilton is going to look to drag the ball with that much power to the onside as Chisholm would. He looks as if he's able to nudge the ball into the different gaps on the offside, and you're just giving away careless runs here. And if I was a coach of the JDF, I would be very annoyed, as Bulai will continue. This is his final over, by the way. 9 overs, no maidens, 4 for 27. So going at 3 runs and over, 4 wickets as well.
So yeah, the fifer is on the cards. And it is Chisholm on strike. And again, those 3 people deep in the leg side. Long on, straight mid-wicket, plus the regulation mid-wicket. They expect him to bludgeon it.
Wide.
And they have that field, and yet they are not bowling the kind of deliveries that will encourage him hitting in the deep on the leg side. He gets one.
I just don't understand it. So the field for me is okay based on the reputation of Chisholm, but the bowling is a bit off. You can't be bowling wide outside the off stump.
With 3 people back on the leg side. Now they're coming in a little bit tighter as Hamilton is on strike. Over the wicket comes Bulai, and he's driving back at the bowler. I think 200 is a little bit is getting farther away. These 2 clearly lack ability. My advice would be go for broke. See what you could get. Well, that one was nicely played, but straight to the fielder.
Yeah. Dennis Bolaino with a couple of deliveries to get a fifer. Need another catcher for me.
Now he attempts to fly that. Hamilton is not tempted. Maybe because it was straight and at the stumps. Maybe had it been floated up outside off, he would have gone for it. But he looks to be the more circumspect of the 2, truth be told. And probably he will look to, just nurgle it around and allow Chisholm to do the heavy lifting. Flighted, and how is that? That one was over waist height. They are saying that maybe the umpire should signal for no ball. He would have done that if it was a pace bowler.
But tell you what, it must have come off something because it wasn't a wide.
Here is Bulai. He is going for it, but straight to the man out there at mid-wicket. They will not, poor feeling. They're coming back for 2.
Well, playing wisdom, not conventional wisdom, will tell you that based on that shot from Hamilton, that he probably got something on the previous delivery, got a chance, got a life, and decided that I'm going to make use of it. But it wasn't signal a wide, which means that he got something on it. I don't know what, but they were well within their right to appeal. 159 for 8 at the end of 37.
Yeah. And Bulai has ended his spell. 4 for, what was that? 4 for, you can tell me, 4 for 30.
4 for 30 from 10.
What do you think of his bowling in this one?
Yeah, he's been good. Apart from the wicket of Price that he really shouldn't have gotten, he's bowled really well. He has looked to flight the deliveries, mixed it up with a couple of wrong-ons. He has varied his length as well, his pace. So I think based on Bulai's experience, that was a very good spell from him and really brought back his team into this game.
All right, so now we're going to see, is that Brian who will pick up from the far end?
Yeah, Gordon Bryan comes back.
And that Chisholm is on strike. Chisholm, by the way, is on, is that
3?
3, yeah. How many deliveries has Chisholm faced?
He's faced 8 deliveries for his 3 runs.
For his 3.
Gordon Bryan, by the way, among the wickets without being among the wickets. He took the catch to dismiss Andre Creary, and then the brilliant run-out direct hit to remove Alwyn Williams for a top score of 72.
So Brian comes back, and Brian's figures, Renata will give us after, well.
Yeah, so far he has bowled 4 overs, none for 18.
4 overs for 18. Here is Gordon Bryan to Chisholm. That's a full ball that he hits up the scoop tight. He's gone. Wow. These JDF cricketers must have been stoning a lot of mangoes in their prime as youth, because they're not missing too many. They are hitting the stumps. That was a careless single. Where on earth was he going?
Well, I'm tempted to say that was a careless half run, because there's no way there was a single there. The most he could have gotten is or just even get to halfway down the pitch. But wonderful work again. I was told a story once that back in the days, in order to get into the army, there was this huge mango tree at Up Park Camp where you had to throw over it. And if it is that you managed to clear that tree, you got into the army because it felt that you were strong. So maybe a little bit of that still going on at the JDF. But fantastic work in the field. And the 9th wicket goes down, and St. Mary in all sorts of problems now with 159 on the board.
Well, they're proving that they're not just strong but very accurate as well. That was from side on, which is never the easiest place to hit the stumps from.
And it's the second one where you're aiming at one stump.
There you go. So the JDF are taking wickets rapidly now. St. Mary likely now to suffer the ignominy of being bowled out well before the 50th over, which is a cardinal sin. Here is Brian, and played out towards the leg side, no run.
Yeah, brilliant work from Kevin Gilzine. His 131 not out is the reason the JDF are in the final as opposed to Kingston. And now, having been rested at deep cover for the entirety of the game, been called into action and delivering.
Shouldn't have been in deep cover for so long. Brian again. And that's a waft. And out caught behind. Yes, he is. A waft at it. Almost anticlimactic. There was very little celebration. You almost for a minute would have missed the fact that he edged it. Renata Brown saw it straight away. And that's the end of the St. Mary innings. So they were well short of the 200 that we thought they would need to keep themselves in the contest. 159 represents a very disappointing score. They were well over 100 for 2 at one stage, but the last 8 wickets fell rather rapidly. Yeah. Renata Brown will tell us how he saw the entire inning.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that they lost their last 8 wickets for round about 30 runs. The St. Mary team, they started out, they lost the early wicket of Orlando Lyons for 5 when he was caught by Gordon Bryan. Then it was Leighton Leslie. Tyrone Daly had a